Welcome to SBA Insider. I'm Quinn Taylor. I'm here with Nick Frank and Hunter Guercio.
Yeah.
Is that how you say your last name?
Guercio.
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 I got
Gettysburg College. Mm-hmm. Talk to us, man. Talk to me about your time here with Nick and the beginning to where you are now.
So when I came over to Sportika, I was probably, like 12 or 13?
So you're 13.
I was 13.
A little bit old, on the older side.
Yeah, I was one of the more later guys, yeah.
Okay.
And I was a much different person than I am now. Like, I feel like I was a lot more like immature, like really didn't know what to do, like, but just like being around Nick, being around the team, like I grew so much as a player and just as a person, being around a group of like individuals, like these guys are really good athletes, a lot better than me. And so being around that pretty much, it's true, pretty much on like a day-to-day basis, like pushed me to be better and try to better myself.
That's excellent.
Just like keep up with everybody, yeah.
Talk about your first time meeting Hunter, and you already had a group that was fairly established from the amount of guys you had. So talk about him entering that group and.
It's actually a very good question. So Hunter came on over with the merger that we did.
Okay.
So we didn't know each other very well. We had two teams. I was coaching both levels, and it was there, like Hunter said. Like it was there. Like he hits baseball very far. We used to mess around with that saying, and hits it hard. So he didn't know the game as well as the other guys did. He was on our second team here, our 13 blue team here, which normally people would, bark at and stuff.
Right.
But I was coaching it. I got to see him really grow and catch up from a mental game and how the game kind of works and where he needs to be as a player here more than the physical. Physical was there, right? He hit the baseball hard. He could glove it. He's gotten better. Obviously, everyone can work on defense, but Hunter kind of matured into that. And I think at 15U, right, was when he moved up and finished out 3 years. So when people talk about, being on a B team early on and just trusting what's going on and guys really are paying attention and following, Hunter was on our B team for the first 2 years here and ended up playing at Gettysburg and being with those guys the last 3 years, which was the top team. So he earned that, and what he says is true. Basically, trying to catch up a little bit.
Right.
Because they played the game at a very fast level. They were here at a younger age. He wasn't, so they were a little bit ahead. But he got there.
The development path is the furthest thing from straight, right?
Absolutely.
So
trust me. Yeah.
Talk about your development from being on that developmental side first. You're looking at other athletes and knowing that this is what you aspire to now where you are. You're a college athlete and you're playing at a high level.
So a lot of it was like I was always able to like hit a baseball hard, whatever.
Right.
Like defensively, it's something I've worked on and gotten better. But a lot of it was like training my body to be in like a much better like shape athletically, so I can be able to do these things that I wasn't able to do before.
Right.
And so a lot of that when I started having success, when I started getting college looks, was like me like putting the work in training and then also developing mentally as a baseball player, knowing what to do and when everything happens.
Yeah. And how did Nick and the rest of the guys here play a role in that? I'm sure you've probably been pushed.
They pushes me a lot. But it was more just like, I feel like any time that I did something wrong, there was at least one person in that dugout, whether it's Coach Nick, whether it's any of the kids that knew what was going on, that they knew what I'd messed up on and how I can fix that in the future. And so it was that aspect of developing maturity and mentally playing baseball is like what really helped me with everyone in the dugout, especially Nick. What
does family mean to you with a guy like Hunter?
I think we had to prove to him what family was, because I don't think he knew. A lot when you get into and not from not from the personal side, obviously.
Right.
But I think that when I preach family and I preach culture inside a dugout or my organization right now, or in this room, to a new parent, to an old parent, a lot of people will say it's BS.
Right.
Culture and family doesn't exist. You got to make money. You got to be able to have all these things so you can make money. But I don't look at it like that. I look at the definition of family as opportunity. I'm organic and I do things differently. I'm trying to do things differently. That's why you're here. That's why we hit it off. And you got to trust that a little bit. You got to get to know me a little. You got to watch this. You got to be around me. And I understand that every day I got to prove it. Right. But so did Hunter. Inside a big building that he didn't know the age group, came with a merger and a guy that he trusted that came here, and I respected that. So he came here and really grew on me as a player and got respect out of those guys on both sides. So to me, I think the family part of it is just keep pushing one another and always telling the truth. Never going to not tell the truth to a family and a player. You can sleep at night if you do that. If you don't, then you shouldn't be able to sleep at night. And that's what I think this industry's turned into, and that's why we're different.
Give me a favorite moment as an SBA player.
Probably favorite moment. So this was it was my first game ever playing for Nick's team. I remember because like it was like I got called up or something to the major leagues, and
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. What tournament? I forget what tournament that was, but it was like a semifinal game.
I'm not going to steal your thunder. I know what you're about to say though.
It was at Holbrook Little League, and like this is a point like never hit a 60-90 home run. Like I'm sitting there, and it's like important. I couldn't tell you why. This is late in the game, and I ended up hitting the ball like straight over the center field fence.
Wow.
And like I knew like nobody in the dugout at that point. Like I barely knew half of their names, and like it helped me get to know them a lot better. Like
some
that.
money in the bank, right?
It pretty much like I was like, yeah, let's go. I made a good first impression.
So to go into details of that, to tell you how much I do remember that, right? It was 14U, and it was the USABL World Series. We were trying to.
That's what it was.
We were trying to go back to back. Mike talked about his glove side play, but this time I invited Hunter to be part of it. I was D'Ambrosio, who come in here to be a part of it. They were not on the A team yet, but it was the World Series. It was the playoffs. So I put our roster together and said, why not? It was his second at bat ever. We were down by like two, like with those guys. We were down like 2 runs. It was like the 5th inning, and I think it was a 3-run shot.
It was a 3-run shot, yeah.
And when I remember standing on third base, and when he hit it, I put my hand on like, yo, that ball's out.
Yeah.
And if you're at Holborn, it can fly out of there very quickly.
Oh,
So I would say the day that Hunter hit that, his nickname became the Bear for the team. That's his nickname.
Yeah.
And it was a huge 3-run homer. He was fired up.
I was so fired up.
There's that family now.
Yeah.
Hunter, no one really knows Hunter. Hunter doesn't really know them, but that ball went over the fence in a big spot. So he's like, now. And I think from that moment on, it made him rest a little bit, breathe, and feel comfortable about knowing that he was a guy and this was a legit age group and this is the right choice for him. But that's the story.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did repeat, as you said, World Series champs, and that game wasn't as close. We won like by 15 runs in the stadium, but yeah, that was Hunter's first home run, and that's a cool moment. I remember it.
Yeah, I still have my ring. It's up in my bedroom.
Damn right you do. Damn right you do.
And I'm sure that moment kind of, solidified so many things for you as a player. Talk about what you would want for a player now who's 12, 13 years old, and not only looking at the moments, but what would you say to a player now at 12, 13, or 14 who's aspiring to do what you've done? What approach would you say to them to take? Just
enjoy the game. Like, baseball sucks when you start to make it a job and not as a game that was ultimately like designed for children. And like to have the ability to like play a child's game and play something that is so fun and like an integral part of you, to be able to continue that and put in the work to like 14, 15, 16 years old, that is what should be motivating you. Like, you love playing baseball. That should really be at the end of the day, that should be the only reason you're playing it, is because you love doing it. And if you love something that you're doing, I believe that like you will be willing to put in the work and get to that next level. And that's kind of like what I felt. Just have fun and don't put so much pressure on yourself.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Well, Hunter, it's been excellent. We're glad that you love the game, and we're happy that you're at Gettysburg and continue to keep crushing, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.